Welcome. Again, I'll be giving a little bit of a talk for the first 20 minutes or so, and then we'll head into the meditation for about another 20, maybe 30 minutes. But in the meantime, even while I speak, kind of receive this as if it's already the meditation. So I'll be using words and concepts to explain certain things, but I want you to kind of just be relaxed and not be too literal about anything. An important facet of spiritual awareness that I want you all to understand, because many of you will be tuning in from sort of different backgrounds of training, different cultural interpretations of spirituality. Some of you might be more from sort of the New Age angle, where there's a lot of talk about energies, higher frequencies, and so forth, create your own reality. Some of you may be tuning in from the more scriptural or earth-based traditions from India, for instance, like the yogic paths and the Vedic paths and so forth. So I want to create a little bit of common ground, which is a big part of what I wish to establish in my work in general. So I'm going to infuse that into this session as well. There's a pitfall in both extremes. One is where we're too sort of nihilistic and our spirituality is too grounded, where we're not really open to understanding that within the relative scheme of things, that there are cosmological events, the ticking of the cosmological clock. There are certain rhythms within the space-time fabric that is, although illusory in nature, nevertheless, it has its effects within that dream that we call life. So there is some effect to be understood and ascribed to certain cosmological events, certain energetic shifts, and so forth. But then on the other hand, if we give our power away to definitions and meanings and we start making things too special, if we start making a certain date, a certain event, a certain alignment of the stars, a certain type of moon, if we start giving that too much validity, we start separating it out from everything else. Now, the view of enlightenment is, in many traditions anyway, that it's in a sense a realization of evenness, suchness, of sameness, of isness, that is all pervasive, that is all equal, so that one's state of consciousness will align to the most fundamental state of creation itself, which is that of all pervasive evenness. Another word for this could be equanimity, equilibrium. So we don't want to stray too far from that evenness. In fact, if possible, we'd like to attain this for ourselves, because this state of evenness is more profound than any alignment of the stars could ever bring you, that any event in your personal mind, body, spirit life could ever grant you. This inner innate evenness, when realized, gives you a stability and a spiritual profundity and empowerment and awakening that simply cannot be ascribed to any alignment of the stars and so forth. It's transcendent to space-time. It's transcendent to the illusion of form and name and the changes that occur and so forth. To get in touch with the timeless evenness beyond the illusion of all the names and the forms that we attribute to appearances. There's a source of power there that cannot be rivaled by any New Age concept or by any Eastern concept. It is simply the nature of your power, of your freedom, of your consciousness. So as much as possible, I always want to guide people back to that power so that they don't give too much meaning to a particular meditation, a particular event, and so forth. Because it's no different than giving power away to the political games, or the financial games, or your oppressors, or being a victim, and so forth. In a sense, giving power to the alignment of the stars by giving it meaning and specialty, by attributing too much specialness or sacredness to one particular thing at the expense of the evenness of all things, the underlying God state of all things, the source essence present already in all things equally, is a way of victimizing yourself. Now, it may feel empowering to the previously conditioned victim That's already sort of a mental construct that we have. So compare it to our everyday, average, mundane sense of being a victim of the world and others and parents and conditioning and politics and finances and so forth. Now we are expanding our victimhood into the cosmological events or the New Age events or the spiritual events. So I want to address that briefly and get you back to your actual power, the actual source of all these things, the source of everything. Because everything else is ultimately compensatory for that, for the lack of connection straight to source. So you'll find that most of my meditations will help you reconnect, reestablish that true source of power within you. Nevertheless, I'm here guiding meditation on the 8th of August, and we've called it the Lionsgate Meditation. So it seems a little bit ironic. I just want to thank Manera, who is in my No Limits mentorship, No Limits Society program, and she actually initiated this. She asked for a collective meditation for my No Limits mentorship coaching group, but then we decided to make it public because we think it's more powerful the more people plug into collective meditations like this. So welcome, and a shout out to Manera. Thank you very much for initiating this. Basically, I'll use every excuse and opportunity I can to elicit a collective response or ripple, to evoke a change, a transmutation in the consciousness of mankind. I don't mind calling it the 8th of August Lion Gates Portal. I don't mind calling it Nothing Has Any Meaning. I don't mind calling it This is the Non-Dual Truth of All the Ages. I don't mind calling it whatever it wants to be called. The fact is, I'm here with you now, and I have you for a sweet hour or so to evoke a sense of your original primordial connection with Source, and for that connection to ripple out into the collective field, which does exist at a relative level within the illusion of form. There is a collective field to human consciousness. And that's what we're here to influence, to affect in a positive way. So we're using this permission slip, this symbol of the gateway, the Lion's Gate, and we're going to be doing the meditation soon. Let's see if there's anything else I want to share. I don't wish to comment too much on the whole Lion's Gate thing, because for me it's purely symbological. It's a symbology. It's a permission slip. Again, not a big fan of giving things too much special meaning, because the evenness tends to get lost. Power tends to be given away to certain forms. Even if we really relish in those forms, they all have an expiration date. Every permission slip ultimately abandons us, or loses its interest, its luster, its power. And then we fall back onto the baseline of ourselves, this original state of consciousness, which is ever present. So I want to guide you into that more and come from that space. But to indulge this permission slip of the Lion's Gate portal, I will speak a little bit about one of the elements involved in this symbology of the Lion's Gate portal, and that is the Star of Sirius. So the Lion's Gate window is when the sun is in Leo and Sirius is closer to us and more or less aligns with the Orion belt. Now, within the relative world, there is some relevance to the Star of Sirius, and it is a beautiful symbol that you can utilize to strengthen your connection with your multidimensional self, to strengthen your connection with while you're here on Earth, to strengthen your connection to your calling, to the true frequency you wish to emanate here, that you wish to benefit people with. And so I'll speak a little bit about the symbological power, the energetic strength that can be utilized by you if you have a certain visual, if you have a certain meaning attributed to Sirius. Knowing that this meaning is optional, however, I'm going to speak about it as if it has actual effect, which it does because this belief is here. Okay, so Sirius, the way I would like you to understand Sirius, and again, more so in the New Age community, you've heard many people speak about, oh, I'm from Sirius, I'm from the Pleiades, and so forth. And Sirius is one of those sort of neighboring clusters, neighboring stars that extraterrestrial life or origins of the soul have been attributed to by a lot of people. I'm not going to affirm or deny that that's the case. That's up to you to believe or not. However, there is a beautiful way to understand our relationship to the star Sirius that I want to share with you here. And then we'll go into the meditation. Although again, we're already in the meditation. So, brief check-in with my team. Are we good still on audio, video? Okay, great. Then I'll proceed. I want you to picture Sirius as a sun that is larger than our star, than our sun. And not only is it larger, so you can close your eyes for this and actually take a few breaths. And if you know the Ujjayi breathing technique from yoga, feel free to apply that. It's basically a way to use the physical breath to activate the non-physical energy flows or pranayama more quickly than regular breathing does. So it helps you pivot between the physical and the non-physical or the subtle energy bodies. And it can be very powerful, cleansing, clearing, and resetting. So it's a form of breathing that it's not regular in terms of you're not breathing in through your nose or mouth in the typical sense. If you breathe in or out normally, you will feel it. If you breathe in through your nose or out through your nose, you'll feel the airflow hit your nostrils. You can actually physically feel your nostrils be activated. If you do the Ujjayi breathing technique, you will feel it in sort of the back of your cavities or the back of your throat. So it also tends to produce a sound like this. So see if you can play around with that. Don't get too distracted with this. If it's not coming right now, then just practice this later. It will benefit you. But for now, if you can navigate the air to the back of the throat, where the air will come less forcibly out of the nostrils and you'll feel the nostrils less activated, then proceed with that breathing for about 10 cycles of breathing. And then I'll go into the meditation, starting with the visualization of Sirius. And then I'll go into a more non-dual type of meditation and then bring it back around to the collective of humanity's consciousness right now. Now you can infuse that with non-dual energy, with oneness, basically. So a few cycles of breathing, and I'll join you. Hold it for a few seconds, and then hold it for a couple seconds, again at the exhalation point. Breathe back in, and as you do the Ujjayi breathing, visualize your energies moving up inside your body, up towards the third eye or crown area. Hold it for a few seconds, and then exhale. Watching the energies kind of nonchalantly, magnetically pour down your body or your spine downwards. Hold for a couple seconds. Gather your will, your energy. Breathe in again. Move your energy up along the spinal column. Focusing upward into the head area, either third eye or crown, whatever feels intuitively most natural to you. And again, gently allow the energy to kind of descend over your body downwards. A few seconds of peaceful pause where the entire creation is paused. And breathe back in, upwards. Hold, radiating the bliss of cosmic consciousness. connection to your crown. And exhale this nice warm glow downward, spreading across your body. And when you're at the exhalation point, for a few seconds, just pause creation, every imagination, every thought about anything. Revel in that non-dual presence. And again, breathe in. And one more time, breathe out using this technique. Okay, wonderful. So you may have noticed a subtle energy state shift where you weren't so physically aware of the physical sensations, but the sensations took on a more non-physical texture or flavor. So this is the power of this breathing, and of course of concentration in general, of resting our attention on a subtler playing field of our own awareness. And our body also has a subtler playing field, a subtler body. You can start to intuitively direct those energies through your body and outside your body. And in this case, it can have a very cleansing, centering effect, which you may have noticed to some degree already. So now just breathe normally as you would. Relax. You can continue this, but don't dry out the throat too much. And I want to speak to you about the power of Sirius as a symbol, and you could argue as an actuality. So now, with your eyes closed, imagining that your attention is kind of projecting out, looking upwards towards the cosmos, towards the sky. Picturing kind of space with the stars and so forth. If you wish, you can visualize the Orion belt and Sirius in that constellation. You don't need to at all, doesn't matter. But now I do want you to connect to Sirius, which is often said to be the brightest star in our sky. And picture it as larger than our sun. And picture it as older than our sun. Picture it with the colors, sort of a electromagnetic, white, bluish hue. Kind of like you might picture the color of electricity. When you think of electricity, it's that rich electric blue with white infused. Also visualize Sirius as being a wiser sun. No offense to our own. But picture it as an older sort of guardian. In fact, I'd like you to picture Sirius as a parallel version of our sun, including our solar system, with all the beings involved in this solar system, in this area of the cosmic clock work. And imagine that Sirius, with its own constellation and with its own solar system, with its own beings potentially involved with that consciousness, where that sun of Sirius is the center of life, is the source of that particular solar system, the source of energy of that solar system, the source of the collective consciousness of that solar system. And picture it almost as if it's actually our solar system with planet Earth, but in a parallel future time where it has evolved. The entire solar system, the entire consciousness of that solar system has evolved into what I call a higher density of energy. There cannot be higher or lower energy for all the higher energy people out there. Energy cannot be higher or lower. It doesn't mean anything. It can only have a higher density or a lower density. But energy itself cannot be higher or lower. There's no hierarchy in that sense. But there is a hierarchy of density. So the more dense a certain area of energy is filled with, you could say, the original frequency of life, The denser in consciousness, the more vibrant, the more drenched, the more saturated with consciousness a particular portion of space-time is, the higher the density of energy within that same portion of space-time, if you will. And so the density of energy, the density of life, the density of love light, the density of consciousness can be higher or lower. Energy itself cannot be higher or lower. It's all the evenness of God. It's all the evenness of Source. It's all the evenness of consciousness. But the denseness of it, the vibrancy, the saturation of it can be higher. And the higher the density, you could say, the farther along in evolution, generally speaking, that portion of the Creator is. So picture Sirius as our older guardian, kind of like a father or a mother or older brother to our sun in our solar system. And also picture the potential beings that are part of that solar system as being older versions of ourselves, guardian versions of ourselves, looking lovingly into our dimension from a higher dimension or density of consciousness, higher density of enlightenment or self-realization, therefore having accumulated greater wisdom and love in balance. And in this way, you can connect to the star system of Sirius, which for some of you may be felt to be a component of your origins beyond just this earthly incarnation. And relate to this blue-white star, this wise older star, dimensionally speaking older, interdimensionally speaking older, as a loving parent or guardian, or if you prefer, as your own future self. In this way, you can use the symbol, the permission slip of Sirius, in a powerful way in your imagination to connect to the energies that are actually always emanating off of this star inside of our particular illusion of space-time dimensionality, which all of that still exists within you. You are not giving your power away to Sirius as your parent or future self, where you're the victim or the lower self. But you're just connecting to that particular frequency, that particular wisdom, the particular love, guidance, and support, so that you can elevate your game. You can elevate the density or frequency of your energy, of your consciousness. And remember a little bit more of yourself beyond this veil, even if just instinctively. It's not going to come in earth symbols, like pictures that you know. It's not going to show up as buildings or trees, or it's going to show up instinctively or intuitively when you connect to something that is foreign to your physical brain's incarnational memory, because you have no symbol for it. So you got to connect to it beyond the familiar symbols. But start with seeing Sirius as your parent star, as your future self, star system of our own. And picture that there is this strong brotherly, sisterly, family type of connection to this, in a relative scheme of things, very close by neighboring system. And allow yourselves to receive whatever is received through this channel in the form of guidance and love that wishes to perhaps express itself in our particular density on earth right now, in this inarguably transformational, transmutative time. Be a beacon of Sirius on earth, in our solar system. Now recognize that although you are attributing power to this visualization, to this understanding, you are literally giving power to the concept of Sirius in connection to Earth and our sun and yourself as a mind, a body, a spirit complex or being. And see that the attributing of that power can be used in a victimizing way, but it can also be understood to simply be a powerful choice of creating, shaping, giving texture, giving power to your own reality, but then witness where you are attributing this power from. And this is the way to not get lost in your own symbols. This is the way to maintain connection to the primordial wakefulness, that divine evenness that pervades all phenomena equally, evenly. Already, infinite power, already in a restful state, manifesting itself as all appearances, manifestations equally. There's but one power in this creation. So I want you to connect to that single power for a moment. Acknowledge that it can be powerful to attribute meaning and energy to certain phenomena, but do so remembering whence you came, whence you attribute this power. From where are you giving this power? Because the power giver, the source of the power giver, must always be more infinite, more powerful than whatever it is pouring its power into. The painter of a painting holds all the keys and all the tools and all the power and all the creativity and all the intelligence required to paint whatever painting he or she desires. The painter getting lost in their painting, forgetting that they created the painting, forgetting that they shaped this dream, is a recipe for disaster, for feeling like a victim, for feeling hopeless and powerless. So by all means, paint away however you please, but always keep one of your two eyes pointed 180 degrees back into the space of no thing isness. That primordial evenness of awareness of God itself, of the fact that you are, of the great universal power of I am, whence all energies flow, where all intelligence emanates into manifestation from. That's you. And this power is not a thing, can never be encapsulated by a thing, can never be defined by a symbol or a permission slip, can never be captured by any authority, by any thought form, except the ones that you give meaning to unknowingly, that you give creation power to, without awareness of the source from where you did that in the first place, the source that empowers you to give power to whatever you give power to in the first place, the power of I am, the power of pure being, which is not a thing, therefore cannot be limited to being this or that, a special date or a non-special date. There are no special dates. The cosmological clock within the illusion of space-time is constantly ticking. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. It never ends, it never stops. Every moment is a special moment. Therefore, no moment is more special or powerful than any other moment, except the ones that you give the meaning to. Why don't we start living our lives powerfully on a moment-to-moment basis, attributing power, spiritual power, wakefulness, peace to ourselves, the ability to be in loving bliss in any moment, by not getting lost in our own paintings, in our own moment-to-moment creations, remembering that this is all appearing in the no-thingness of infinite perfect being, the Creator, God, you. Remember your source of power. Then you can play with symbols all you like, it doesn't matter. But be mindful, reconnect to this, because most do forget. And it's a process of getting back to understanding that your power is not in any event in space-time. It's beyond space-time altogether. You exist prior to the emanation of space-time. So how can you be a slave to any date, special or not special, to any system, special or not special? You attribute power from the true place of power, which is not a thing. It's you. It's your aliveness. The more you remember this, the denser the energy of your consciousness becomes, of your remembrance. The more powerful, the more you amass, remember and amass your free will, the freedom of consciousness. The freedom to create, the freedom to know yourself, the freedom to channel yourself in powerful ways, harness your energies in powerful ways. But always come from this no-thingness. That's not a blank. It's an alive knowingness. It's an alive nothingness. It is vibrant. It's mysterious to the brim. It's infinite even. The more you dive into this no-thingness, 180 degrees backwards, you'll find that your entire dreamscape is opening up, is waking up to a reality of potentiality, of infinite potentiality, of infinite freedom. Remember to connect to that, because without that, all your spiritual symbols are going to have an expiration date. They're going to let you down sooner or later. But that's because you have forgotten where you are. Do one more cycle of Ujjayi breathing, if you know how to do it. If not, a regular breath will do. Channel your energies upwards from the base of the spinal column, upwards through the body. Centering in the center of the brain, the third eye or the crown, whatever pleases you most. And then stay in the 0 point. Don't enter any thought form. Stop imagining. Only wake up to the fact that you exist as not any particular thing. Yet you are. Yet life is. Be aware of the fact that you're aware, that you exist. And of course, allow the breath to continue naturally. Rest in that 0 point field, where the entire cycle of creation has come to a halt. And there's only the freedom of you, the essence of all things, the essential self of all beings. This is from where every phenomena occurs and emanates. This is the painter itself. This is the creative energy itself. This is the single power of evenness that pervades all appearances equally. This is your source of power, your point of source, your point of power. Remember this frequently, for your mind will forget. That's okay too. Now that you do remember, picture bringing this level of peace and love to humanity simply by being here, simply by radiating, simply by existing. Your body then becomes a beacon or transmitter rather than a personal possession of yours, or something that you think you are. It becomes a means to the timeless end of radiating the love and the light of the one infinite source of all things, becoming more and more moment to moment, less and less temporal, more and more timeless, freely radiating that love, evenness, and the luminosity inherent in awareness, inherent in existing, and just generously spreading that about through the vehicle of your body and your mind. The body and the mind is not a possession so much, nor is it you, nor do you even exist inside of it. It is actually always happening in front of you as the nothingness. Inside of also, not separate in front of, but in front of, inside of, in front of. You can see this now. The body is manifesting itself to you. You are not manifesting yourself inside your body. The body is clearly appearing to you, therefore exists, appears, is manifest inside of you. So use this activating beacon as a generous hand extending into this world, this dimension, allowing yourself to choose whatever frequency, whatever message, whatever embodiment, whatever principle. Be it love, be it peace, be it clarity, be it all of these, be it empowerment, that you wish to emanate from your body as an example, as a demonstration, as a beacon, as a transmitter, whether quietly from the comfort of your own home, or whether on a full stage in front of the whole world to see and dissect. It doesn't matter either way. Either way is valid. But radiate the unique, pristine freedom and frequency of while your soul is here, as a channel for that infinite potentiality of creative intelligence to flow through you moment to moment to moment, not just when the stars align in a certain way. The stars are always aligned in a certain way. Alignment is entirely subjective. Depends on where you're looking at it from. The stars are always aligned with each other. The clockwork of cosmic consciousness is ever ticking, ever evolving. And you're contributing to this dance. You are this dance of the whole. You are all things, and all things are you. So dance through this whole freely, remembering your indestructible nothingness from which you manifest your moment-to-moment experience. Remember, the point of your power is now, not the past, not the future. It is now. It's not a thing. It's not this or that. It's neither this nor that. It is the existence devoid of this or that itself, inclusive of this or that, but essentially not limited to this or that. Always here now. Not even here, just now. Not even now, just timeless, just as it is. From there, plant yourself firmly on this earth and do your work, perform your duty, because if anything, the Lionsgate portal at this timing is a call to honor. Remember your honor. Honor at the deepest level, soul alignment to the Creator, to God, to Source, to the oneness of all beings. And then towards into the actions, speech, and thought forms and habits that you create and shape day to day in your physical life. This is your honor, this is your privilege, this is your duty. So take up that sword of spiritual wisdom, slice through your own complacency, and allow the symbol of Sirius as your future self, star system, if you will, to empower you to remember that this is a cosmic dance of foreverness, dancing to itself. You can never truly be harmed. The body is appearing inside of you, in front of you, inside of you, as a beacon, as a mechanism for you to utilize however you see fit to radiate the frequency into this planetary field that you feel most inspired to radiate, with no judgment of self and others, compassion at the heart of every action, oneness at the heart of every thought. Change yourself, drop all the stuff that does not belong to your soul's honor. Drop it. Don't even have a process about it. You know what's not in alignment, so just drop it and let the chips fall where they may. Clean up the mess afterwards. You have the ability to communicate, but drop it. Unburden yourself. Let this new energy, this gateway, be a symbol of you being transfigured right now. By your own freedom. You're already nothing. You're making this all up. So why not, from that nothing, eternal isness, shape it in whatever way you so feel is most honorable to your soul. Makes you sleep best at night. Be proudest of yourself in the deepest sense of that word, without any pride, proud without pride. Feeling aligned, feeling powerful. Who are you to humanity? Who are you to this earth? Why are you here? And therefore go forth from this nothingness into manifestation, being unapologetically you. And you know what that is. You've just covered it up with excuses and reasons and other people's expectations that you are attributing power to, nobody else. You are free right now. There's no baggage holding you back right now. It's all you, baby. So activate yourself. Be that honorable entity you know you came here to be. There's but one power in this entire universe, and that is you. Your freedom of will is the activating principle in this infinite potentiality dancing to itself in a mysterious dance of foreverness, exploring itself in as many ways as it possibly can. The one infinite creator getting to know itself through as many avenues as it possibly can explore, including yours. But that's just a small portion of what you are, my friend. You are the foreverness. You are that infinite unity dancing to itself. Give it shape however you please, but check your honor. Am I living with honor today? If not, no problem, don't judge it. Accept it, forgive it, and change it. You know you can. So do it. Be the change you wish to see. Leo out.